The fight to win World War II meant hard times for the country, and it changed the landscape of most college campuses, including the University of Alabama. With a majority of male students heading off to war by the middle of 1942, many college football stadiums, including Alabama's, were silent in 1943. Then head coach Frank Thomas went into action, gathering a mix of freshmen, 4Fs, and returning war vets at the capstone to help bring the tradition back to life. Great coaching, hard work, and some very good young talent made the 44 season a success, and for their winning effort, an invitation to the 1945 Sugar Bowl and another Crimson Classic. Hello, I'm Gary Harris. In 1942, Frank Thomas's Tide squad had gone 8-3 and capped off the season with an impressive 37-21 Orange Bowl victory over Boston College. But the call to military service on the Pacific and European battlefields of World War II brought college football to a standstill by 1943. Only schools training officers for the military were able to fill teams in 1943. Denny Stadium felt like a ghost town.
Alabama didn't have a team in 1943, and then in 1944 they decided they would field a team. The Southeastern Conference, and I guess most other conferences, voted to let freshmen play on the varsity teams in '44 because of the shortage of manpower. There were some misgivings among the higher-ups at the school about even having a team. But Frank Thomas, the coach, assured them that he could field a representative team. His team was made up of freshmen and 4Fs, in other words, guys that couldn't pass the physical to get in the military.
By the start of World War II, Frank Thomas had already accomplished as much as his predecessor, Wallace Wade, at the capstone. Frank Thomas, a Muncie, Indiana native, played for the legendary Knute Rockne and shared a room with George Gipp at Notre Dame. Thomas studied well under his college coach, and at the very young age of 33, was named Bama's head man in 1931. Coach Thomas convinced a hesitant university administration that the program could be revived in 1944. With a plan to rely on freshmen as the heart of his team, Thomas went to work. Two of those freshmen went on to become members of the College Football Hall of Fame.
Who made up this team of Alabama? Harry Gilmer was a freshman tailback. Harry weighed about 155 pounds. And of course he became an Alabama immortal. But Harry didn't plan to play college football. He was in love and he didn't want to play football. But Alabama hired Malcolm Laney, who had been his coach at Woodlawn High, as an assistant, and I guess Malcolm talked Harry into playing. Harry had an amazing arm. One day they were at practice, and one of the coaches saw him out there just throwing as hard as he could, as far as he could, and the coach ran over and told him to stop, you're going to ruin your arm. And he asked the players, how far did he throw the ball? They said, well, he threw it 3 times. He threw it 69 yards, 72 yards, and 71 yards on the fly.
That Harry could jump up and throw. He could probably throw better on the ground, but he liked to jump up, see, so everybody could see him, you know.
He had a real soft touch with it and great feel, and he jumped up to throw the ball.
My mother was always afraid I was going to get hurt playing that rough sport, she said. But as soon as she saw that I was going to get to go to school playing football, she thought football was the greatest.
Harry Gilmer was one of the freshmen. The other was a 23-year-old, one-eyed Burley lineman from Sugar Land, Georgia.
I don't know why Vaughn only had one eye. I think the other got put out with a stick. Somebody stuck a stick in his eye.
Now, I lost an eye when I was a kid. A kid shot me in the eye with a bow and arrow. And
He was one of Alabama's great linemen, of course, and I think back in those days, what I call real linemen, you really had to block without benefit of standing up there pushing people with your hands. You could be a 190-pound lineman back then. Now you got to weigh 325 pounds and just take up a lot of space.
He played football at Ramsey. He was the largest football player on the Alabama team when he was here. He weighed 230, ran the 110 flat. That was on the old cinder tracks, and he was just a tough customer for playing football.
The rebirth of football at Alabama was now placed in the hands of a unique mix of players.
We only had about 31 people on the squad. A few of them were people that had been in the service and for some reason or other were back out of service, and they would come back to school a little early. But for the most part, we were just a bunch of true freshmen.
The 1944 regular season ended with 5 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. But the fun was not over. The Tide received an unexpected invitation to the Sugar Bowl.
They went out to open the season against an LSU team that featured Y.A. Tittle and had played in the Orange Bowl the year before. And they actually tied LSU. And they finished with a record of 5 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties, and got invited to the Sugar Bowl to play Duke, which was loaded with naval trainees. So it was supposed to be a big mismatch. Duke was a 3-touchdown favorite. Newspapers criticized Alabama for accepting the Sugar Bowl bid because they said it would just, be a slaughter.
Duke University had become one of the officer training schools of the Navy's V-12 program. Many college graduates were back on campuses all over the country studying the math and engineering skills needed for the war effort, and many of them were back in football uniforms. The veteran-led Duke team was ranked 11th in the nation, while the upstart Crimson Tide, with only 1 player over 200 pounds, was unranked and a 3-touchdown underdog. Coach Thomas and the media had a unique name for his team.
Well, I think it got started because my father mentioned it on his TV program.
They called them the War Babies. That's the name that Thomas gave them. He always said his War Babies were his favorite team.
The 1945 Sugar Bowl kicks off when Crimson Classics returns. Now, this was the first ever meeting between Alabama and Duke. Located in Durham, North Carolina, the team derived its nickname from the French Blue Devils, a crack Alpine Corps which wore a striking blue uniform with a blue beret. Alabama and Duke take the field for the 1945 Sugar Bowl. 18 of Bama's 39 players are 18 years of age or younger. Frank Thomas, a quarterback during his playing days, employed his mentor's version of the single wing, the Notre Dame box. Usually starting from the T formation, the Notre Dame shift is executed by 6 men. The ends move out 1 yard from the tackles. When shifting to the right side halfback moves up into a wingback slot just outside and behind the tight end. The quarterback shifts over between the guard and the tackle, while the fullback moves to directly behind the tackle. The left halfback shifts to directly behind the center in a shotgun-type stance, thus keeping the defense off balance, never knowing which formation, which side, run or pass. Before the war, most programs were using the single wing, but as the 40s progressed, more teams went to the T formation. Duke, the 1944 Southern Conference champions, finished the regular season with a 6-4 record, with 2 of those losses to the eventual national champions, the mighty Cadets of Army, and a last-second loss to number 4 Navy. Of their 42 players, 23 are naval trainees. Eddie Cameron coaches Duke, filling in for Lieutenant Colonel Wallace Wade, who is at war. Before a crowd of 72,000, including 25,000 servicemen and women, Duke wins the coin toss and elects to receive. Alabama will defend the North Goal. John Wozniak kicks off for Alabama down to the Duke 10-yard line. Tom Davis returns the kick to the 33, where Ralph Jones makes the tackle for the tie. Number 28, George Clark, races around left end. He crosses midfield. Only one Alabama player to beat, and Lowell, too, makes a touchdown-saving stop at the 15. Lowell, a native of Waynesboro, Mississippi, led the team in touchdown scored. Davis again, this time up the middle for 1 yard. Von Mancha leads the defense with the stop. 2nd and 9 inside the red zone. George Clark through the right side. Fumble. A big break for the Blue Devils as they recover on the Bama 7. After a 5-yard motion penalty, it's 3rd and 7. Clark to pass. He can't find a receiver. He runs and takes it in for the touchdown to cap a 67-yard Blue Devil drive. Harold Rather, who also plays end, is set to try the point after. It's good. Duke 7, Alabama nothing early in the first quarter. Duke kicks off, and it goes out of bounds, so Bama starts on its own 35. Harry Gilmer at right guard for 2 yards. The Tide backfield consists of Harry Gilmer, Fred Grant, Hugh Morrow, and Lowell Tew. The Tide backfield shifts right. Gilmer again for 1 yard at right end. On 3rd and 7, Gilmer shifts to punt. The former Woodlawn High School standout boots it to Duke's Clark, who makes his way back to the Duke 35 and is brought down by Hueytown's Norwood Hodges and Florence, Alabama's Ralph Jones. Tom Davis to the left for a 1-yard gain. Again, it's Hodges and Jones on the stop. The Blue Devils in a single wing to the right. Clark takes a direct snap from center. Clark is moving. Fumble. Ralph Jones is Johnny on the spot for the Tide. It's Bama ball at the Duke 37. Freshman Tom Whitley caused that mishap with a powerful hit to Duke's George Clark. Mancha snaps to Gilmer, who hands to Hodges. The 5'9 freshman breaks open for a big gain to the Duke 19.
I think the most interesting case on that team was Norwood Hodges, who was a 165-pound starting fullback, a freshman. Norwood really should have been playing that 1944 season at Hueytown High School. What happened, Auburn tried to recruit him and told him that even though he was a junior, that he could come down there and play for Auburn. What would have been his senior year in high school. And so Alabama heard about it and said, well, if Auburn can do it, we can do it too. So they got Norwood to come down in the summer and go to Tuscaloosa High and earn some credits. He'd go to high school in Tuscaloosa in the mornings and then go practice with the Alabama football team that afternoon.
Lowell Tew again, tries left in and nets only 1 yard. On 2nd down, it's Hodges to the right for 4 yards. Watch again as the pulling linemen lead the way for the 5'9", 175-pound Hodges, who hits it through the line. On 3rd and 2, it's Hodges, who will not be stopped. He bulldozes his way to the 8 and a Crimson Tide first down. Gilmer takes the snap from Mancha and dashes to the 6, bringing up 2nd and goal for the Tide. Gilmer sweeps right, does some dancing in the backfield, but is only able to gain 1 yard. It's 3rd and goal from the 5. Let's listen as Harry Wismer makes the call for the Blue Radio Network.
Shifting off right, Gilmer back. Gilmer gives the ball to Hodges. Hodges, then there's a forward pass down to the 2-yard line, the 1-yard line, where he's going at that spot. Walks down the yard to go for a touchdown. Walks down the yard to go for a touchdown. Shift to the right, the ball is passed. Hodges is over for a touchdown. extra point. 30 out of 36 is his record for the year. Holding the ball will be Harry Gilmer at the 10-yard line. Morrow will try the extra point. Waiting for the pass in center. There's the pass in center. It's a high pass. The ball is juggled. The ball is in the air. The ball is no good. And the score is 7-6.
More first half action when we return to Crimson Classics. Frank Thomas compiled an 81% winning percentage during his 15 years as head coach at Alabama, including 4 undefeated seasons, 7 one-loss seasons, and a 4-2 bowl record. Halfway through the first quarter, John Wozniak's kickoff is fielded by Tom Davis at the 10. Davis reaches the Duke 30 before he's hauled down by Big Von Mancha. Cliff Lewis carries for 2 yards. Mancha makes the stop, bringing up 2nd and 8 for Duke. Lewis carries again, this time sweeping left for 3 yards. Buddy Edwards makes the tackle. It's 3rd and 5, and Duke goes into punt formation. It looks like a good one, but takes a Bama bounce. First down, Alabama, with 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Birmingham's 18-year-old Harry Gilmer spins to the 35. Gilmer hands to Fred Grant, who's brought down at the 39. Third and 1, Bama shifts right. Gilmer runs right. He's still going all the way to Duke's 35 for a 26-yard gain. 1st and 10, Bama. Gilmer rushed for 405 yards and passed for 418 more during the 44 season. Gilmer hands to Grant for a 3-yard gain. Gilmer sweeps right down to the Blue Devil 24 and another Alabama first down. Tew tries to go wide left, but it's a great open field tackle by Davis. A loss of 3 sets up 2nd and 13. Gilmer's back to pass. He's in the air looking to throw, but no one's open. Gilmer slips down for a big loss all the way back to the 43. It's 3rd down and 26 long yards to go. Gilmer drops, he jumps and throws. Ralph Jones makes the grab and is out of bounds at the Duke 2-yard line.
And of course he became famous for the jump pass, which I probably ruined a lot of little kids coming along later trying to be Harry Gilmer. But
Grantland Rice said he was the greatest kid that he'd ever seen throw the ball.
With Bama down close, the Tide goes to Hodges again. It's a repeat of the first touchdown, and it makes the score 12-7 Bama. With 1:12 left in the first quarter, Morrow's try of the extra point is blocked. The score remains Alabama 12, Duke 7. Let's hope these 2 missed point after touchdowns don't come back to haunt the Tide. Johnny Wozniak kicks off for Alabama. The ball is taken by the Blue Devils' Tom Davis. Davis is stopped at the 35 by Tom Whitley. On the last play of the first quarter, George Clark picks up 3 yards. What an action-packed quarter, and Alabama leads it 12-7. It's 2nd and 7. Clark takes the sweep wide left. He picks up 3 before Wheeling West Virginia native Jack McConville records the tackle. Duke's in a single wing right set. Davis hits the right side of the 48, 2 on the stop. Clark to pass on first down, but it's Mancha and company dropping the Blue Devil for a loss. On 2nd and long, Clark hands off to Cliff Haggerty, trying to sweep wide left, but what a hit! Big Jack McConville with a big league smackdown. Davis punts for Duke. Gilmer takes it at right around the 17-yard line and scrambles for 5 yards. Lowell 2 runs around left end, breaks into the open field, and gains 20 yards before he stopped. This time, 2 hands the pigskin to Hodges, who fights his way for 5 yards off right guard. 2nd and 5, 2 goes left for 2 yards with 10:25 left to go before the half.
All right, it's Alabama's ball, shifting right on 3rd down. Gilmer back. Harry Gilmer has the ball. Gilmer's fading the pass. He'll have to hurry. He gets it away. It's in the air. Jones has it on the 15, and he's down to the 9-yard line. What a pass that was. Terrific pass. All the way down to the 9-yard line before he was finally tackled. All set. Here we go. Shifting right. Gilmer back. Ball goes to Harry. Harry takes it to Hodges. Harry's carrying the ball himself at the 10, and he's hit on the 7-yard line. Hit in there by Stinkin' Carver. Shifting right. Gilmer back. The ball is passed to Harry. Harry gives it to Hodges. Hodges is thrown at the 12-yard line, and a great tackle by Harold Rather and Tom Davis. The ball's from the 12-yard line of Duke in Alabama's possession. Ball is passed to Gilmer. Gilmer's fading the pass. The ball's in the air, complete to the 2-yard line. Touchdown for Jones. From Gilmer to Jones for a touchdown. The score is 18-7. Alabama leads. Beautiful forward pass. Harry Gilmer passing right over the middle, right in behind the secondary. Perfect forward pass. Jones steps over all alone for the tally. Trying the extra point. Morrow will try the extra point from the 10-yard line. Harry Gilmer will hold the ball. Waiting for the pass in center. There it is. The kick is in the air. The kick is good. And the score is 19-7. Alabama leads the favored Duke team with 9 minutes left to go in the first half.
Fairhope, Pennsylvania native John Wozniak boots the ball down to the 10-yard line again. Nice return by Cliff Lewis to the Duke 37. Lewis rolls left, looks like he wants to pass. Now he tucks the ball down and runs to the 42. Second and 5, single wing to the left. Lewis starts right in a sweep, but he drops the pass. Tight end Harold Rather is wide open right down the middle. First down, Duke. From Bama's 45, Lewis laterals to Davis. Great play by Ralph Jones. He turns Davis inside. Billy Fields fights off a block and makes the tackle. Great teamwork by the Tide. The 72,000 in Tulane Stadium have certainly gotten their money's worth in this one. More from the 1945 Sugar Bowl when Crimson Classics returns. Can Alabama's defense stop the Blue Devils as Crimson Classics continues? Lewis drops the pass, then decides to take off. He runs 15 to pick up 3. Mancha pushes him out of bounds. Third and 6, Lewis back to pass. He dumps it to Carver, who makes some nice moves down to the Alabama 27 with 7:10 to go until halftime. It's been all Lewis on this drive, so why stray? Lewis sweeps right. 15, 10, nice cutback. He's racing to the end zone, but thank you, Buddy Edwards makes a saving tackle at the 1. It's first and goal. Davis through the Alabama middle for another Blue Devils touchdown. The PAT is no good. With the clock under 6 minutes to go in the first half, it's Alabama 19, Duke 13. Bama's Albright returns the Duke kickoff to the 36. Harry Gilmer tries the middle of the Duke defensive front, but is held to no gain. Bama shifts right. Gilmer gives to Fred Grant, who carries to the 41. On 3rd and 5, Gilmer tosses a screen to Grant, complete but only to the 42, 4th down Alabama. Gilmer in punt formation for Alabama. Lewis fields at the 22. He's still on the move. Gilmer finally makes the tackle at the 42. The snap to Davis, but it's on the ground. That's the 3rd fumble in the first half for Duke. Unfortunately for the Crimson Tide, the Blue Devils have recovered 2 out of 3, but it's still a loss of 3 yards. It's 2nd and 13. Carver on an inside reverse. Carver crosses the 50 and moves to the Alabama 45. Tuscaloosa's very own George Albright makes the tackle. 1st and 10 with 3:06 on the clock. Lewis to throw. Looking. He throws, but it's incomplete. Lewis is sacked by Vaughn Mancha, bringing up 3rd down and 10 yards to go. Mancha is everywhere for the Tide. With the clock winding down, Duke still needs 10 yards to make a 1st down. Bama needs a stop. Cliff Lewis goes right. And with 2 lead blockers, it's a big gainer for the Blue Devils all the way to the Bama 33. First and 10 with 2 minutes to go until halftime. Lewis sacked on a big play by Tom Whitley. Whitley was a 190-pound freshman from Birmingham's Phillips High School. 2nd and 20 for Duke on the 43. Lewis finds Gordon Carver. It's 3rd and 6. Tom Davis fumbles. That's 4 for the Blue Devils, but another good bounce, and Lewis recovers 4th down. As the clock runs down toward halftime, Lewis looks to throw. He can't find a receiver and takes off to the right, and he's stopped after a 6-yard run, and time has expired. Alabama goes into the locker room, leading the favored Blue Devils 19-13. During halftime, the $1 Million Band lives up to its name as it dazzles the packed Sugar Bowl with its marching and musical prowess under the leadership of Colonel Butler. Let's return to the action. It's Alabama kicking off to the Duke Blue Devils. Davis returns to the Duke 35, where the tackle is made by Mancha. George Clark tries left tackle, but Buddy Edwards steps up for Bama and throws Clark for a 2-yard setback. Clark this time carries to the 31 for a gain of 3. Vaughn Mancha with another tackle. It's now 3rd and 9, and Bama's D does its job. Duke punts down to the Tide's 26. Bama's first snap of the second half goes to Gilmer, who hands to Hodges. Great open field tackle by Duke, stops the play for no gain. Coach Thomas, hoping to flip the field position, orders Gilmer to punt, but it's off the side of his foot. Duke's ball on the 37. Bama's back on defense as Davis bulls through the middle for 5 yards, setting up 2nd and 5 for the Blue Devils. From the Duke 42, Carver on the reverse catches the Tide off guard, and he rambles for 19 yards to the Alabama 43 before Albright can make the tackle. Duke's big, powerful offensive line is making some holes. Davis for 7 yards. .10:30 left in the third quarter. All-American Tom Davis again, this time for 3 yards. 1st and 10 Duke on Bama's 34. The Blue Devils with a little deception. Davis takes it all the way to the Tide 23. The Tom Davis show continues. He's racking up yards, this time down to the 12 and another first down. Davis again. Who else? He carries to the Bama 7 before Mancha can make the stop. Davis makes it 6 carries in a row. This time, Bama stops him for only 2 yards. It's more second half action when Crimson Classics returns. The Tide and the Blue Devils are in a hard-fought battle with the War Babies of Alabama holding their own against the Blue Devils. Let's get back to the action in New Orleans. Single wing set, Tom Davis to the 3-yard line. The officials say he's a half-yard short of a Duke first down. 4th and short for Duke. Can Alabama hold? No. Davis grinds it to the Alabama 1 and a 1st and goal. Goal line sets for both teams. Davis is stopped at the half-yard line by Bruno Filippini and Buddy Edwards. Davis caps off an amazing performance on the drive by scoring the tying touchdown. On the possession, Davis carried the ball 11 times for 56 yards. Folks, that's a workhorse. The extra point is good, and Duke takes their first lead since early in the first quarter, 20-19. Spears kicks off for Duke and knocks it out of bounds, so Alabama takes over on the 35. George Albright carries up to the 37. On 2nd and 8, Gilmer punts to the Duke 35 as Coach Thomas tries again to gain the field position advantage. Spears gets the ball and is tackled at the Duke 38 by Albright. George Clark goes off right tackle for a big run to the 49-yard line. With 4 minutes to go in the third quarter, Lewis gains 2 yards before Filippini and Edwards bring him down. The snap hits Spears on the shoulder. It's another fumble. It bounds around before Lewis makes the recovery for Duke. Spears hands to Clark, who's slammed down by Wozniak for a loss of 1. A good defensive stand by Alabama brings up 4th down for the Blue Devils. Gordon Carver punts for Duke, and the ball bounces out of play on the Alabama 31-yard line. As the clock winds down under 2 minutes in the third quarter, it's Bama's turn to drop the ball. But the Tide not as lucky as Duke. Alabama loses it. Duke has the ball on Alabama's 26. It's a big break for the Blue Devils. On 1st down, Spears gains 2 yards to the 24. George Clark on the carry. He gets loose and darts for 11 yards, 1st down Duke. On the last play of the third quarter, Clark fakes the pass and tries the middle, but Mancha fills the hole and makes the stop, no gain. The fourth quarter begins with Duke threatening to increase their 1-point lead. From Bama's 25, Lewis's 2nd down pass is incomplete. Lewis fakes a pass. He keeps the ball and he has room to the right, but Norwood Hodges makes a terrific tackle. Big play coming up. It's 4th and 10, and Duke is going for it. Snap goes to Lewis, 2 steps back, dumps it off to Carver. He fumbles the football, but like all day long, it bounces right into the hands of teammate Hardison, but Hodges is there to push him out of bounds. Bama takes over on downs. Norwood was a 4-year starter for the Tide and later would become a well-respected 2-term mayor of the city of Anniston. After that wild play, Alabama has new life. 1st and 10 on its 12. Hodges carries for no gain. Gilmer tries left tackle, but is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Once again, Coach Thomas decides to punt on 3rd down. Gilmer gets it away to the 50. Lewis takes it on the run and picks up 5 yards. Duke has terrific field position. .12:30 left in the game as Lewis plows into left guard for a gain of 2. Lewis to pass. He finds Carver, who makes a terrific catch to the 36. Third and 1, the ball goes to Davis, and he moves for 5 yards and another Duke first down. But this time, Lewis is thrown for a 1-yard loss. 18-year-old Jack McConville having a fine afternoon on defense for the Tide.
More action from New Orleans when Crimson Classics returns.
Let's return to the exciting finish of the 1945 Sugar Bowl here on Crimson Classics. The clock now says 10 minutes remaining in the game. Lewis drops back. He overshoots his target, and Hugh Morrow intercepts. He gallops down the far sideline, picks up a Crimson escort. He's at the 20, at the 10. Nobody's gonna catch him. It's 6 for Bama. Let's hear Harry Wisner's radio call.
Duke leads 2019, 4th period, 10 minutes left. The ball is passed to Lewis. Lewis fading the pass. He's got plenty of time. The ball's in the air. Intercepted. That's ball back from the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45, the 35, the 25, the 20, the 10. He's out. The touchdown to Hugh Morrow, the quarterback.
Morrow to add the elusive extra point. This time it's good, and the score is Alabama 26, Duke 20. After a 5-yard delay of game penalty, Wozniak kicks off. Stevens gathers it in at the 25, and after a nice return is brought down at the 46. Davis for 3, the tackle by Alabama's Bruno Filippini. On 2nd and 7, Davis takes the handoff and smashes his way across midfield to the Alabama 45. Duke's not going down without a fight. 3rd and 1, Davis up the gut for a tough yard and a much-needed first down. The clock keeps moving. Single wing set, number 27, Jim LaRue gets the call for the first time and swings wide left. He turns the corner, first down and more, all the way to the Alabama 26. It's Clark on first down, and look at that big guy carry Bama tacklers for a 5-yard gain. 2nd and 5, 6:20 remaining. This time it's Davis for 4. Duke driving. On 3rd and 1, Davis busts his way to the 9 and a first down. Davis carries again, this time for 3 yards before Tom Whitley brings him down. Davis stopped by Fred Grant at the 3, setting up 3rd and goal. It's 3rd and 3 on the 3, and Davis is stacked up at the 2-yard line by the middle of the Tide front. Four minutes to go, Bama by 6. It's 4th and gut check time for the Tide.
It's single wing back to the right. Clark is deep with Davis. The ball is passed to Davis. Davis is at that goal line. Alabama fights him, and he is stopped at the 1-foot line. He's stopped at the 1-foot line by Vaughn Massey and John Wozniak as they came in, stopped him a foot away from the goal line. Alabama's ball, 1st and 10 to go.
This was the goal line stand way before 1979. After a strategy timeout, Gilmer lines up to punt on 1st down, but he takes an intentional safety. The score is now 26-22 Alabama. Duke can win it with a touchdown. Alabama elects to punt from its 20 following the safety. The kick is fielded at the Duke 40 and returned all the way to the Alabama 40 by Clark. Duke has terrific field position. .310 still remaining on the clock. It's a reverse to LaRue. LaRue breaks one tackle, breaks another tackle, then another, and he's not down until reaching the 20. This young Bama team seems to be tiring. Single wing set, strong right. George Clark takes the direct snap and heads wide right. He rambles untouched for the touchdown, and Duke breaks Bama's hearts for the moment, leading 28-26. Rather tacks on the PAT, and with 2 minutes left, Duke has regained the lead, 29-26. Duke's Rather kicks off. George Albright receives the ball on the 15. He returns out to the 24. Alabama is 76 yards away from a touchdown, and time is in Duke's favor. First and 10, Gilmer hits Morrow with a screen pass, but he's dropped for no gain, and the clock is running. On 2nd down, it's another screen to Morrow. To the right side, only 2 yards gained on the play. 3rd and 8, a minute to go in the game. Gilmer rolls right, looks to pass. Now he runs for a gain of 6.
With 34 seconds left, Dolphins quarter. And to congratulate Eddie Cameron and Frank Thomas for the great football game they staged with their boys out here this afternoon. All right, Gilmer's back, 10 yards deep behind the line of scrimmage. There's the passing center. Gilmer's running the ball from punt formation. He's at the 30, the 35, the 40, the 42-yard line. Almost broke away for a score. It's 1st down for Alabama. The seconds are ticking rapidly away. Alabama comes out of the huddle, shifting right. Gilmer's back. Gilmer's fading the pass. The receivers are down the field. Gilmer gets it away. It's a long pass high in the air. Jones takes it on the 30. He's down to the 25. He's still running at the 24. And the game, I believe, is over. He caught that ball on the 30, racing to the 24-yard line. Almost broke away. One more stride to run away for the touchdown. Alabama would once more abandon the lead. The score is 29-26. The ball game is over. Duke is the winner of the 11th annual Sugar Bowl Classic.
On the last play of the game, Gilmer had thrown 7 passes. On the 8th pass, he completed it. And Tippy McConnell, the right end, went down. It was a crossing path, and Ralph Jones, the left end, went down and was crossing like this. Tippy's objective that day was to block the safety, Duke safety. He tripped, fell down, did not block the guy. He had Ralph by his right foot, but Ralph was just trying like hell to pull loose, and he was pulling this guy down the field, and the rest of the Duke team caught up, and of course they tackled him, and the game was over. It was the last play of the game.
The last play of the game was he caught a pass that I had underthrown, so he had to bend back, come back to get the ball. And when he got the ball, they made a diving lunge at him and just kind of slapped his feet and knocked his legs together, and it tripped him up. And that's the way the ball game ended.
Duke hangs on to defeat the Alabama Crimson Tide by a narrow 29-26 margin. But the 1944 War Babies would turn into an undefeated squad of Gridiron Warriors in 1945. That season and its stories are to be told in another Crimson Classic. For the Bryant Museum, I'm Gary Harris. To purchase a DVD of this program, visit the Paul W. Bryant Museum at www.bryant.ua.edu or call 1-866-772-BEAR.